You believe you are free. You are not. Observe yourself. A word of criticism is spoken, and your jaw tightens. Your blood warms. An unexpected bill arrives, and a cold knot forms in your stomach. A rival receives praise, and the bitter taste of envy coats your tongue. You are a ship without a captain, tossed on the waves of external events. Your emotions are not your own. They are reactions, programmed into you by the world. Another's opinion, another's action, a random turn of fortune. These are your masters. They pull the strings, and you dance. This is not a weakness. It is a form of slavery, the most insidious kind, because the captive believes his chains are his own skin. You call it being human. You call it passion. I call it by its true name, bondage. Your inner state is a territory occupied by foreign powers. Your peace is granted and revoked by forces outside your command. You have surrendered the seat of power within yourself, and you have not even noticed it is gone. This is the default state of man, but it is not his destiny. There was an emperor who ruled the known world. His name was Marcus Aurelius. Yet his true empire was not one of land and legions, but of the mind. He understood that a throne can be lost, an army can be defeated, a reputation can be shattered. All external things are fragile and subject to the whims of fate. He knew that the only true dominion is self-dominion, and so he built a fortress where no enemy could ever reach him. He called it the Inner Citadel. This is not a place of comfort or escape. It is a command center, a silent granite keep within the chaos of your own consciousness. From its ramparts, you can observe the world's turmoil, the insults, the misfortunes, the temptations, without being touched by them. You do not run from the storm. You watch it from a tower of unbreakable stone. The citadel is not a gift. It is an achievement. It is built stone by stone through discipline. These are its laws. The first law is the separation of event and judgment. Things in themselves are inert. They have no power to harm your mind. A man insults you in a meeting. This is the event. The raw data is simple. Sound waves vibrated in the air. The words entered your ear. That is all that happened. The pain does not come from the event. It comes from your judgment about the event. The thought. This is a humiliation. This is an attack on my status. I have been diminished. This judgment is the poison you willingly drink. The first discipline is to create a space between the event and your judgment. When the stone is thrown, do not immediately label it an attack. Simply observe it. A stone was thrown. A word was said. Numbers on a screen changed. See it for what it is. External data, neutral, cold. Do not grant it entry into your fortress. Do not give it a name. By refusing to add your own story of injury or disaster, you rob the event of its power. It remains outside the walls, a meaningless happening in a world of meaningless happenings. This is the moat of your citadel. The second law is the practice of indifference to indifference. Your will is your own, your thoughts, your judgments, your actions. These are the only things that truly belong to you. Everything else, your wealth, Your health, your reputation, the opinions of others, is external. It is not yours to command. The Stoics called these things indifferents, not because they do not matter, but because they have no bearing on your core self, your character. The undisciplined mind is a slave to these indifferents. It grasps for praise and recoils from blame. It soars with fortune and plummets with loss. The sovereign mind practices indifference. When you suffer a financial loss, you do not say, "I am ruined." You say, "An external thing which is not me has been reduced." You then apply your willtha, only thing you control, to a cold and rational strategy. When another provokes you, you do not say he is trying to anger me. You say, an external person is making noise. His state of mind is his, not mine. Practice this categorization. Is this event within my control, or is it external? If it is external, it is indifferent. It cannot touch your will. It cannot breach your citadel. This practice starves the ego. It builds the inner walls thick and high, until the praise and blame of the world sound like a distant wind. The third law is the retreat inward. Men seek retreats for themselves in the country, at the seashore, in the mountains, but this is foolishness. For you can retreat into yourself at any hour you choose. This is not a gentle meditation. It is a strategic withdrawal, like a general returning to his tent to survey the battlefield map. In the midst of chaos, of demand, of noise, you close the gates of your senses for a moment. You retreat into the quiet of your own mind, into the fortress you have built. There you reaffirm the first two laws. You observe your own thoughts. Are they ordered? Are they rational? Are they reacting to externals? Or are they aligned with your will? You bring them to order. You find your center. This is your unconquerable sanctuary, a place of absolute stillness and clarity from which you can choose your response to the world, rather than having it forced upon you. A few moments of this inward retreat are enough to restore your command, to wash away the grime of the external. This is the practice that fortifies the keep. It is where your sovereignty is reaffirmed, again and again, until it becomes your natural state. Do you see the distinction now? The world believes power is the ability to move others, to command them, to control them. This is a fragile illusion. It makes you dependent on the compliance and weakness of others. True power, absolute power, is to achieve a state where they cannot move you, when your tranquility does not depend on their praise, when your resolve is not shaken by their insults, when your path is not altered by their schemes. You have achieved a form of freedom they cannot even comprehend. They can rage and plot at your gates. They can hurl insults and threats. It will be as effective as throwing stones at the sky. You become a law unto yourself, an empire of one. The man who rules himself cannot be ruled.